Hello, this is Thomas. I guess the return of M.a.N episode. I don't know what episode we're on, to be perfectly honest, but this is something that was like spur of the moment, something that I've been thinking about for quite a while, and I just decided now is the time to do it. And there's no better time than the present, is what they say, is it not? I'm gonna try and kind of get you guys all caught up to speed with me, with what's been going on. I'm gonna try explain what I want this to be and how I hope it moves forward. To be perfectly honest, it's just completely a spur of the moment thing. I've got some little notes here just so I don't waffle. We all know what I'm like, and I'm going to hopefully use this to actually get better at that. Something I'm also going to practice doing is speaking to the camera. There's a big screen right here, like down for me. That's my face, and it's very easy with like how animated I am to look at it. So I'm just going to practice speaking at the camera. Potentially even start chopping this stuff up and make some content with it. I'm not sure. I guess like the main goals though, like we'll talk about M.a.N, we'll talk about the podcast, we'll talk about how I'm going to try and like build it back up and how I'm going to try and push it on forward. I know for a fact Big G will probably listen to this. We will get you back on, big fella. We do know that you're the most viewed episode. It was a pleasure chatting to you, and hopefully I will get another conversation in person before we do anything like this. But yeah, I know you'll be watching this. But yeah, it was a good podcast. So, one of the goals of like pretty much everything that I do is I hope to inspire people. I think we're living this crazy time just now where a lot of people think that there's like a specific way that you're supposed to live. I think social media is impacting people massively, not only mentally but like on an entire scale of like, it's called social media, and I think it is like socially guiding and directing how a lot of things are happening. I also think like the future generations are also going to be massively impacted, either by like comparison or like false expectations. I'm not sure, and that's maybe something that we could talk a bit more about. Like I could look into it, I could read, I could definitely get some psychologists on, I could definitely get some people that are willing to talk about stuff like that. I'll definitely be able to find that. I also want this to inspire people to be creative themselves. I want people to see me cocking this up all the time. I want people to see me not getting it right and then think like, look, I could do better than him. And genuinely, like a lot of the time, and a lot of what I do is like, I want people to see that they could do it better than me, and then go out and do it. And I don't know if that makes me sound. Does that make me sound like a narcissist? Does that make me sound egocentric? Maybe it is a little bit egocentric, actually. I don't know. I don't get my spelling right all the time. A lot of my posts are pretty raw. A lot of what I try and record, what I try and say, what I try and do is never perfect. I think flawless is a word that's getting used a lot now that we need to stop using. If you're listening to this just now and you're constantly thinking that you need to be flawless and perfect, like I'd really like you to hear this, and I hope it like sticks and it hits you, and you remember it, and you feel it when any time that you feel down on yourself. Is like your flaws are what make you you. They're what make you an individual. And these flaws are what make you beautiful, because every human on a level like of individuality is beautiful. It upsets me that a lot of people are getting cosmetic surgery now to undo flaws or to potentially change a squint tooth, or they're getting their hairline changed. And like I do understand that, like at the same time, like if these people do feel down on themselves because of them, or it really does impact their day, like by all means, like I'm not anybody to tell you what to do, or I'm not even going to try and tell you what to do. I'm just going to talk and hopefully, like I say, inspire and maybe hit you or hit a nerve that makes you feel a bit better about yourself, like genuinely. However, I do sometimes think that maybe like because of social media, we've put these like false expectations or these like unreal standards of what people should look like and how they should be. Like there's people out on this planet that are absolutely they're like gods and goddesses. Like it's always been like that. But I think now it's almost like a goal to become someone like that. I don't know. Maybe that's me just overthinking things. Maybe I've become a bit too philosophical with age or with persevering through goals on my own quite a lot. And I guess that's something I could maybe talk about, like bodybuilding. I'll talk a bit about that, like how my training and all that's going, but the stuff that I've learned from bodybuilding, like that helps just on like day-to-day life. I could talk about that. But yeah, the main cause of this, like the main purpose, I can't believe I've only been speaking 5 minutes. I thought I'd been speaking for like 15. Is to inspire people. I'm hoping that like you guys can see me doing this, not getting it right, not doing like amazing with it, and then be inspired to pursue some of your own goals, whether it be recording a podcast, whether it be starting a social media account, whether it be pursuing a job or starting your own career or like anything like that. Like I really hope that this can inspire people. I don't know if I've ever really explained the full title M.a.N, and I'll do that today, I suppose. So like the reason I called it Muscles and Nonsense, and then I wanted it to stand for man, that was like one of the key things for me. Is I went through like a spell, and I'm still quite fascinated with like what it takes to be a good man. And I think that like I really want it to be like a helping hand to help the young lads that are in positions where they feel suicidal. They don't feel like they feel like not being here would be better than being here. And it's hard, and this was something that like I really did struggle with the podcast previously, and I completely understand like being completely open and honest with everything. That can be a bit daunting. It can also be a bit detrimental to some things as well, especially with this like cancel culture. I wanted men to be comfortable being men, and I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get a lot of my mates on, and what I might actually try and do is speak with a good friend of mine, Kyle Skelly, about setting up a studio and having it like we're sat together, because I think conversation. My neighbour's there, little Sal. She's giving me a wave. I think it's easier to have a conversation and open up and be a bit more like you in person. And like what I'd really like is for men to feel comfortable being men, and I think that's like a difficult thing nowadays. And I think it's also hard because it's a bit misconstrued, and that's why I've become like obsessed with this idea. I actually think waves are going to be too loud. They are. I also think that like it's been a bit misconstrued on what like men should be, or like a lot of men think there's a way that they should be, when like in reality like you'll have like a you that's in you, like you'll have like ideas, you'll have passions, you'll have opinions on things, and sometimes you'll just say what you think the crowd's going to say. I hear a lot of men doing it. I don't know if I'm less like that, because my dad wasn't really like that. My mum and dad split up when I was like 7 as well. So like for a short spell of my life, it was just me, mum and sister. And then my mum found her second now husband, Kevin, and he's quite opinionated, but like he's not like a football fan. He's not someone that's like trying to fit in. He's just completely his own person and always has been. He would probably be someone interesting to get on here, but it would be hard to have like a whole conversation with him. I don't know if you guys would want to hear more about like my upbringing, my perspective of it. I'm not sure. I definitely think there's something there that I could look into and dive into. Maybe, I don't know if any would be up for it, but maybe if I got like a psychologist on to do like a session with me and we spoke, I would just hate to feel that like anything that I said felt like I was stabbing family in the back. I don't know. Maybe that's something that I could do, but I really want it to be that like young men of all ages can watch something like this, listen to something like this. I'll have different men on talking that can be inspirations, that you can see that like you don't have to do what everyone's telling you to do. Like you can live your own life, and you can create your own life. You can completely create your own life. You can have like dreams and aspirations, and you don't have to just like go with the grain. Is that the right saying? I don't know if that's the right saying. I want this to be somewhere where people can come, they can feel like, it's like a breath of fresh air, because it's not filtered, it's not got like filters on it. It's not got like there's not this like trying to be cool or trying to be popular. And I've always found like the coolest guys, or the guys that I've always looked up to, or the men that I've always looked up, women as well, like people I've always looked up to that have always been like attractive in the sense that like you're drawn to, are just being themselves. And a huge thing that I've like come to realize as I've gotten older is like there's a big difference between fitting in and being cool. Anybody that you've ever looked up to or admired or has become like cool or a celebrity or anything, most of them, not all of them, but most of the people that are like put on like almost like a pedestal, let's say, they've just completely been themselves. They've not tried to fit in. They've done something completely different to everybody else. And what's happened is, like, everybody else is like, instead of having the confidence or the courage to just, right, I've got me inside me that I want to let out, it's easier to just copy these people. And again, I don't... Maybe you're someone listening to this and you're like, I actually understand that. I get that. I feel like I do that. Like, because I definitely done that. I'd done that until I was like, realistically, until I found Lisa. Nah, maybe a bit earlier, but like I knew it was wrong. Like it just didn't feel right. But I kind of stuck to it until Lisa, and then Lisa, like I could just tell, liked me. And then I was able to just come out my shell a bit, and like, I think, and like genuinely, like I think if I'm able to figure these things out, if I'm able to do them, like honestly, anybody could do it with it, like just that little spark of like self-awareness, and then I don't know if it would be self-discipline. I don't know what it would be, but like being able to just like stand by yourself and hold your own. Does that make sense? I don't know. Probably not. But yeah, that was going to be the nonsense of man. Like it was going to be just life. It was going to be a bit philosophy. It was going to be potentially like just books that I've just read, places that I've just been, things that I've visited, people that have been traveling. Like if I could get people that have been traveling to come on, chat. Like I do think, like this. I think this would be quite cool. You know, I do. I want to have like almost like a, I guess like some of my favorite podcasts. Like I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, and that like put me on a podcast. That was like the first one I ever discovered. And then I listened to a lot of that is it Friedman? I think he's one of the coolest guys to have graced this earth. The way that he handled Kanye West was like out of this world. I've forgotten his name now. The English lad. He's just gone into a business with James Smith, doing like energy drinks. I can't remember his name. I think it's Chris, maybe. I don't know. Like these guys, what they do is like they get people on, but what they're doing is they're getting celebrities on. And what I would rather do is I'd rather get like normal people, because I think like celebrities, most of have like almost lost a bit of a connection with like the real world. Maybe not all of them, and I do think that like some celebrities, when you hear them talking, you're like, oh, they're so down to earth. But to be honest, like with just how busy things have been, I've not really been able to listen to many podcasts, and it's probably why I've like kind of neglected this as well. So I would really like to get this going. Again, I do enjoy talking to people. I do enjoy like having conversation. And I don't know what that says about me, but I do like to get some stuff off my chest, and I do just hope that someone else hears it and they're like, actually, do you know what? I feel pretty similar to you. So yeah, that's like the nonsense side. Like the nonsense side was just going to be like things that men do that maybe people didn't know, or I don't know, like way that sometimes we feel about things. But I get that like if you come on a podcast that maybe like 100 people see that, there is a chance that you could upset or offend someone, and that's why I think it was hard for people. Like I normally find it okay to just come on here and talk, because what I do is I always imagine that I am just talking, and I've tried really hard as I've gotten older to just be honest. I've tried to just like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Like I've tried to get good at that. So like normally when I say something, like if I do say it, I don't always like completely agree with it, but it's something that like I've maybe thought of, like it's maybe a thought or an idea. It's not like a set opinion. Every time you see me looking down, that's me checking that I'm checking the time now. Or like I'm being animated and I'm catching my hand and it's making me look at myself and I'm looking at like my red face. But yeah, that's like the nonsense side of man. And then the muscle side, that was going to be to like just cover fitness. So the plan was to try and clear up some myths. Maybe give you some advice, maybe talk to some like nutritionists, try and find out like what they're recommending just now. I'll happily like debate people, because I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding and knowledge on training, programming, nutrition, lifestyle, sleep. Like I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding of all that stuff that I could hold my own with some of these people. So even if there's someone that says stuff that you're like, I don't know if that's true, like let me know, and I will genuinely, I'll reach out to them and I'll ask. There's someone that I recently reached out to that has a porn addiction. I just think that would be interesting to hear about, because I would like to know, for me, like myself, like I'd like to know the difference between being addicted to it and then like being a regular user of it. And I guess like my own porn use, this is something that's kind of embarrassing to open up and speak about, I suppose. I found porn when I was quite young. I don't know if I've ever been addicted to it, but I know I go through spells of being probably overusing it. And again, like this is all just waffles and coming out, but it's the truth. I just want to share the truth. I'd like to get him on. I'd like to discuss it with him, because I genuinely don't think porn's good for men. I think it's a massive reason to why men feel the way they do just now, why men are kind of going the way, and there's a bit of confusion there. I do, but that's something else. Sam Flynn, again, a friend. I've known him since he was a baby. He can't remember, but he was a little baby when I first met him. His dad and my dad were good friends. He's actually asked, and there is the potential that this is going to be like a two-man podcast. Like we're going to start just recording it, the two of us. We're going to start discussing fitness stuff. We're going to just put the world to rights, I suppose. But a big part of me starting this was to try and get to know more and more people, to create an opportunity, because what happens with a lot of people that are, let's say, like, I don't know, like they have like larger social media followings, or they already have like quite a big business, the likelihood that they'll just meet you is a lot less now than, not all, I suppose. I suppose quite a lot of people would meet for a coffee and a chat if you ask them questions. And I guess some people, quite a lot of people are actually pretty shy to come on a podcast, so I was going to hear a shite there. Sometimes, like, people that I would like to ask questions, what they see it is they see it as an opportunity for their social media to grow. So it's quite easy to get people to come onto podcasts. I'm just going to close this. I have to put up the volume of the microphone. I hope it's not absolutely blaring out. It looks like it's in the green still. That's good. It's not easy, but sometimes it's like a safe space for people to come and have a podcast. Because the thing is as well, like at the end of the conversation, people can say like, I don't want you to share that, or could you edit that bit out? And I've had to do that. I have had to do that. I do want these to be as raw and as real and as honest as possible, but some people don't want you to know some stuff about them, and I completely get that, and I can respect that. But yeah, that's what I'm wanting M.a.N to be. I'm wanting it to be raw, real, inspirational. I want people to be able to come, to feel comfortable. I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be very raw, flawed. I want it to be its own thing. And I guess, like, honestly, I remember as well when we were like grooving with this, like I always felt really good after the conversations. Like it just felt right. It felt natural. Like even just now, talking just now, like I feel good. Like I actually feel like I'm ticking off like a really big box that I've had to tick off for a long time, or even like a weight off my shoulders that I've had on my shoulders for a long time. Like because I have been saying to myself, like I'm going to start doing it again. I'm going to record it again because I did enjoy it, and I've just not done anything about it. And here we are today. Next time I do it, I'll put up like a question box, or I'll have someone on and they can be a bit more interested than me. Yeah. Okay, so that's M.a.N. If you do have any questions, just throw them in the comments, DM me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, however, just get in touch. So I guess we'll go through like what's been going on. I guess one of the big things that we'll just touch on and get it out of the way is Cassandra's parted ways with TS Health and Fitness, which is sad to say the least. However, I think it just got to a point where like both of us were a bit too busy. We couldn't help each other like either way as much as we were able to back at the start. And if I'm like if I remember back and like it was easy for me to like change my mind. Like I tried really hard to keep Cassandra going with TS Health and Fitness because I adore her. I do see her like a little sister, and I do feel like, and I think she's older than me. I think she is older than me. But like that's like the relationship that we built up. I don't know if she feels. I don't know. I've never asked. We always kept things quite professional, to be honest. But yeah, like the initial reason I started taking coaches on was for one-to-one coaching. I wanted them to be there for in-person coaching because I wanted to be able. I knew I could develop coaches more on a one-to-one sort of. What would you say? Like a one-to-one level than I could online because I was quite new to the online still. I did manage to get quite busy with online, but that's changed. Like I'm not nearly as busy as I was before I started taking coaches on. And I guess this is something that, like, I guess this might be a little segment to inspire people or to, like, motivate people on. Like, I've tried, so my goal was always to help people, to help as many people as I possibly could. And that was through exercise. And then what I started to realize is, like, there's only a certain amount of hours in the day, and there's only a certain amount of people that I could be doing one-to-ones with each day. And I realized how beneficial a one-to-one was, because not many people get one-to-one interaction and have, like, someone else completely focus and care about them for 1 hour. That I was seeing it having huge benefits, mentally, physically, like it just had a better, like people were able to like talk, people were able to get stuff off their chest, and like even myself, like I remember speaking to a life coach, and after like speaking for a whole hour about things that I've been thinking, I can remember just feeling better, and I just started to realize that like if I can get more people into that situation, we'll be able to help more people. And then lockdown happened, and then when we came out of lockdown, I had quite a big like waiting list, so I was able to like shuttle off clients pretty quickly, but things didn't go to plan. And my goal for a long time has been, like I say, to help people. But then it got to the point where I was like, I actually want to help PTs, because if I can help PTs, I can help them help more people. So let's say like a PT can run, like let's just say for argument's sake, like 6 to 8 online clients. If I could, I got just under 60, and I was able to manage that, but much more it would have been. I would have had to go to like. I would have to get rid of all my one-to-ones, and I would have probably had to start working weekends. But that, like, if I ever want to like push business to that I'm willing to do that. I can't remember where I was going to go with that now. Let's say 60, right? So that was where I was going to say. Let's say 60 clients, right? If that's all I could deal with, say I could help 5 PTs, that's then 300 people. So like I always thought, like, right, if I could do that, that's like that would be like me making a bigger difference. And what started to happen, like, and again I can't go into too much detail because there is personal things that happened for all the coaches that have ever worked with me. Like I've had 4 coaches and I've lost all of them, like either through me not getting something right, something cropping up, or like personal training not being for them. And I'll be honest, like I take responsibility. Like it's probably been me. I've probably not managed them well. I've probably not been able to like deliver what I promised. And I think a big reason for that is like I'm willing to do anything for personal training, for TS Health and Fitness, for my clients. Like I work a lot. I put a lot of people before myself, or at least I feel like I do. I think it's kind of narcissistic to talk about this stuff if you're not actually showing it. But like I genuinely believe I do, and I think Lisa would agree if we were asked. I think she would agree with me. But yeah, that like my goal still is to have like 5 PTs, one-to-one PTs, working under TS Health and Fitness, and it does become a little bit easier, and I'll come on to that in a minute, and I'll go in a bit more detail because I have a gym now. But yeah, like Cassandra's gone her own way. I think she'll do great. I genuinely do. She also has her own gym, which is a phenomenal facility, and I'm really hoping that me and Lisa can go out to Sweden sometime and do like almost like a training camp holiday or something. I don't know. We'll just use their gym loads and get walking, hiking. I might do it when I'm prepping actually, because it would be a nice little break, somewhere nice to go. I don't know. I'll look into that. But yeah, it's now back to just me. TS Health Fitness is just back to the TS. So the goal for me is to try and build my roster back up. I don't know if I'll push it back up to 60. I think I must be sitting about somewhere between 20 and 25 clients just now. And that's actually like, do you know what? It's like a really nice number because it's allowing me to work a lot on the business still. Like I have time to do this. I have time to type up like next week and the week after's emails. Things have settled with the gym a little bit, so I've got a bit more time there as well. And I'll touch on that in a second. Right, 24. I've got 6 minutes to try and get through everything. Right, so TSL and Fitness is now, it's not online coaching, it's the Thrive project, which is a you project. What that's about is like encompassing everything. It's going to be like chasing goals, it's going to be chasing dreams, it's going to be positivity, it's going to be like go-getters, it's going to be like I'm going to try and create like a group of, like a community of lone wolves almost. So people that have gone after things themselves. It's going to be around fat loss, a lot around fat loss, a lot around health, fitness, like big goals that people have. So at the minute we've got someone that's got high rocks coming up, couple people doing. I've got someone that's away to compete next year. I've got someone away to do a photo shoot in 7 weeks. I've got like such a mix of clients. I've got a 70-year-old. I've got entrepreneurs. I've got people that live all around the world. Like I've got a bit of everything. Like I genuinely have everything. And when they all come together, they all are very driven. They're very motivated. They're very inspiring. And that rubs off on people. And I want other people to be able to be a part of it because it just rubs off. It just helps. It just helps you become more. Helps you become better. And I do think as well, like similar to the podcast, I want people to be able to see that like life doesn't just have to be like the way that a lot of people portray that you have to live. I want it to be that people like that maybe have that feeling inside them that they want to achieve a bit more, but they just can't quite get it. Or there's people that are like, right, I know my sleep shit. Like, how do I improve that? And we help with sleep. Stress. I'm really stressed. I'm running my own business. Like how we can fit fat loss in, how we can fit training in, but we can also like reduce that stress. I'm very fortunate that I've been able to work with some uber successful business people, and I've learned a lot from them, and I want to be able to share that with other business people. Thrive is like a you project. It's fat loss, it's fitness, it's strength, it's muscle building, it's nutrition, it's everything that someone needs to live a good life, and that's I think there is a place and a way for that. That's Thrive, and I'm like really excited about it. I knew TS Health and Fitness was needing a little shake up. Like I felt like it was dying. Like I felt like it was like wasn't getting spoken about anymore. So I just created this. I know the name's cheesy, like I know it is. And one of the successful business people that spoke with me, like he kept saying it. Like he was like you're making me feel better. You're making me thrive. He's like he just like he kept saying like. He's like you're a bit more than just like a PT. He was like, you're making me like happier. You're making me, and he just kept being like, you're making me thrive. And he was like, you need a slogan like that. Don't just live, thrive. And I remember just like looking at him and thinking, that is the naffest thing I've ever heard in my life. And the more I said it to myself, I was like, oh, do you know what? It encompasses everything. Like it encompasses absolutely everything that I'm doing. Like if someone's stressed that's working with me, I'm like, right, we're doing all right with calories, so let's just focus on the stress. Like, what are you doing to detach from work? What are the key stress factors? Like, what's the protocol like around bedtime? How often are you on your phone? What are you looking at on your phone? And then like things like guided breathing, meditation, journaling, getting out for a walk. Like, let's introduce these instead of maybe you're going to the gym twice a week. Do you know? Like, so we do that, and then what I'm trying to do is give people the tools that like they don't feel as overwhelmed, they don't feel as stressed, they don't feel as anxious, they don't feel as like I wouldn't say I'm going to go down the route of like the mental health side, but I just want it to be that people are able to like manage themselves a little bit better. But if you do have like mental health problems and you're listening to this, like please just know that like I am here to listen if you want to talk, but I don't think I know enough to be able to like fully get you out of a depression. You maybe need to go speak to a professional, and genuinely, if you are in that place, like please do go speak to someone. Thrive's just pretty much what I've wanted it to be. It's just people wanting a bit more from life and willing to do it and work for it. So that's work ticked off. Right, training's going pretty well just now. I am training for my men's physique competition, which is next year. I have pretty big goals, pretty big aspirations, and I guess as soon as you say them, you are putting them out to the world. I'm digging out blind. I've been digging out blind now. To be a winner, like to win and compete against like the best guys in the UK. I've pushed body weight up to an uncomfortable place. Like I'm just shy of 100 kilos just now, just shy of 16 stone. I'm eating a lot of food. I'm making sure that I'm getting everything in. I'm ticking my boxes like every single day. I'm training hard every single day. I did take like 3 weeks off, just a little bit there. I had a deload, so that's like a spell away from training, to try and de-stress because I just felt myself like fizzing, and training does that. And then I went away for 2 weeks. And when I was away for 2 weeks, I was training, but it wasn't like complete failure. I was maybe leaving like a rep or two in the tank. And I just couldn't find my groove for like another week after that. So let's say 4 weeks. And I just couldn't find it. And then this week here, like, or let's just say like the past 7 days, I've really started to like, I've got that again, like, and I've got that fire. Because I did start to doubt and question myself. And maybe that's something that I could talk about as well. Like, I do regularly seesaw between, like, who do you think you are? Like, you've never been intelligent, or you never got good grades in school. You've always struggled with learning. You've always struggled with, like even communicating. A lot of people think you're arrogant. Sometimes I think I'm arrogant. And then I'm like, the other side, and I'm like, well, why not you? You work hard. Just, like, start reading the books. Like, put in extra effort. Like, you're willing to do anything. You get up at 5 every day. You don't go to bed. Like, I actually, like, pretty much fall asleep on the couch. Like I put in such an effort. I'm like, why not you? Maybe it's just like, maybe you need to keep doing this, and then it'll go back to this side, and it'll be like, everybody's working hard. Like, who do you think you are? Like, you don't just deserve it. You've got to earn it. Like, and that goes through my mind all the time. But yeah, training towards, I'm going to do like a full WNBF circuit. I don't know if anybody from that would listen, so I'm going to try and do a lot of WNBF shows, maybe travel around a little bit, around Europe. I'd quite like to do the Dubai show again, and I'd really like to do the Canada show. It's somewhere near Toronto. I can't remember exactly where, but I had a client that was going to potentially do it. He might still do it. But yeah, I'd like to potentially like finish the season over there or in England. I really liked the England show last time, the one that I came third in. But yeah, training really hard for that, eating really hard, and honestly, eating is really hard just now. But yeah, like, I don't know if you can, like, I'm pretty big, but like, there is fat going on. I actually don't look too broad just now, but like, if you see me, like, I do feel like I look bigger than like the average person now, which I've never felt like. So that's what's been happening with that. So I've got like another 4 weeks of that bulking, I suppose, and then I've got a small recomp, a small dieting phase for like 8 weeks, which will be a bit more aggressive than what a prep would be. Hopefully get myself back down to like 88 kilos, so like 12 kilos off in 8 weeks. I don't know if I could do that. I'm not very good at taking off heaps of weight, but like, I'd really like to do that. Like, I would really like to do that. In fact, I'm going to write that down. 12 kg off. I wrote it down now, come on. With regards to the gym, yeah, I don't think I had the gym last time I spoke, but I now have the gym. It's going really well. It's not quite where I want it to be, but we're slowly getting there. And by that I mean, like, I want it to be the gym for beginners. I want it to be the place where people that are maybe a bit scared to go to the gym, never been to a gym, maybe they're restarting, they would feel confident or comfortable coming and seeing me. I show them around, they get used to the bits of kit, they get in a habit, I see them there regularly, it changes their life, they get into a good routine. That's really what I want it to be. There's some crazy stats. I don't know if you remember the podcast that I done with, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Such a good guy as well. That's bad. That's really bad. We spoke about his handle's the Pretty Powerlifter, and I can't believe I can't remember his name, and I'm sorry if you listen to this. I am honestly so sorry. Like, it's like right on the tip of my tongue. I wasn't even going to speak about you, that's why I'm sorry. But yeah, he spoke about like the percent of the people in the UK that have gym membership, and it's low. It's like 14%, and that's heavily brought up by London. And I wanted the people that are already going to the gym, like, keep going to your gym, keep enjoying your gym. There's a lot of small gyms closing down all the time because members are leaving and going to like big facilities like David Lloyd's, Pure Gyms, JD's, because they can charge like really low prices. So if you're at a gym, go to a gym, and if you don't go to an independent gym, join an independent gym. It's beneficial for the economy and your town that you live in. And we want to target we just want to target the people that don't go to the gym, or that feel like they're a bit too much of a beginner to get like to these other gyms. But yeah, it's going well. I still have some big goals, some big aspirations with it. A lot of gym stuff's expensive. I didn't realize how expensive it was going to be. Like, there's a few things that we've bought, there's a few things that we've looked at, and it's like it gets into the thousands of pounds. Yeah, memberships are slowly creeping up, and that's the goal. Meeting some brilliant people. When I first took over the gym, this is something I could probably talk about in a full episode, like taking over it. I did think it was a big mistake. However, now I feel like we're building like the new community. There was a previous owner, and I bought it off someone, and they had built up their thing. And hats off to them. They had a very like tight knit group of people. There's great people that have stayed. Like there's amazing people, and some of the people that left, you are amazing. You're amazing human beings, but you were so like loyal to Chris, and I can respect and appreciate that. Like I genuinely am, and I do mean that. There's like no hard feelings. Like I completely get it and understand. But yeah, we're starting to build up like people that know me. So when they come in, it's Thomas's gym, and they've never known it any other way, which is quite nice. The gym doesn't always feel like it's mine though. I have a business partner, so I could probably talk about that a little bit. And I don't know if that's impacting how I feel about the place, but yeah, sometimes the gym doesn't feel like mine, which is, I wouldn't go as far as saying sad. That is in there. That's in there. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's sad, but like, it's like one of those things, you know, have you ever saved for something? You've saved really hard, or you've thought about something, and you've thought about it, and you've thought about it, and you get it, and you almost feel a bit like underwhelmed. It's a bit like that, and that was really like hard to begin with, but it's slowly getting there. It's more like a job than anything I've had for like the 7 years that I've had TSL and Fitness, but I do love it. And the people that I'm building it up around me with are brilliant, and I'm hoping that there's like more opportunity for jobs. I'm hoping that there's more opportunity for people to start careers. I'm hoping that there's more opportunity for people to just like promote and, I don't know, like push their own stuff through the gym. I'm hoping that. Yeah, if you want me to talk more about the gym, I can probably do a whole bloody episode on that. And then recently we just went to Canada, which was unbelievable. Here's a stat for you, right? Canada, genuinely, I can't even think I can share my screen. Right, I'll know that for the future. In fact, let me just see if I'm not going to do it. If you Google, right, size of Canada compared to the UK, you'll see like it's like all like huge, and then the UK is like this big. It has half the population of the UK. Honestly, there's so much like just nature. It's unbelievable. We were over there visiting one of my best mates, Mike Goods. Him and his wife have had a baby, Lynn. The baby's called Macklin, or Mac, and his wife's called Lynn. Yeah, and it was fantastic seeing them. And it's like being like this is like the first time I've come back from a holiday and had like the holiday blues. Normally I'm like completely like raring to go with work, but for some reason like this time round, and it's not like I'm not excited for work. I love what I do. I'm very fortunate like that. But like, it was just such a good trip that like I almost like I would like to be back. Does that make sense? I don't know if you've ever experienced that. Like, it was such a good trip that you would do it again and again and again, like, and you would never be bored. There was something that happened that I would definitely not want to happen again, but in fact two things that I would not want to happen again, but it was a great trip. Just being with your mates for 2 weeks solid is so good for your soul, but like I feel it's so good for your soul that like you almost come back to this and you're like, I shouldn't be working 16 hours a day. I should be just hanging out with my pals all the time, chatting nonsense and cutting about and seeing new things. But that's what I like. That's not for everybody. That's not everybody's cup of tea. Right, I just noticed the time. It's 38 minutes I've been speaking. And I guess if you've been watching this, like me sat in my room with my books behind me. Oh, and I didn't even notice my bloody to-do list and whiteboards down there. Yeah. Mind your own business. I could talk about that. That came from comparing myself to other businesses constantly. And I was constantly looking at what other PTs were doing and why they were so busy, and it was like really getting me down, and it was just like wasted energy. So I've just wrote on there, mind your own business, to like, that's what I need to focus in on. And any time that I start to compare now, I'm able to just out of it, and then I'm like, right, go find something that's going to make your business better then. But yeah, that's something else I could talk about if you want. Let me know what you think of these sorts of episodes. This is just very rough, off the cuff. I'd had it in my head for like maybe 4 or 5 months. I was actually going to cancel the whole subscription for this, and I was just going to finish it. I was going to be done. I was like, I just didn't think that I could do it. But it just takes a bit of effort, and I need to just put that little bit of effort in because I do love doing this. I actually don't know if I feel better for doing it. I don't know if I feel better because of what I've spoke about or what I've gotten off my chest. I don't know. But what I do feel like is I do feel better for doing something that's been on my mind for a long time, and I say that to everybody, that like if you have something you want to do, please just take that first step to go do it. Hopefully this has inspired you in some way. Hopefully you get to know me a bit better. And yeah, if you just let me know in the comments what more you would like me to talk about or touch on, or if there's guests that you want me to bring on, or if there's topics that you want me to talk about, I'll try and find someone that's like an expert in it, and hopefully I can just help you be you and live a bit happier. Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon.